Lived here for 30 years now. Came here from the east. For 10 years, we fought the Indians. Tough men. Then we had outlaws. We had drought. We had smallpox. Terrible winters. I buried more of my children than I raised. I've seen strong men wither and die under that unforgiving sun. But I've never once doubted my life here.
Mr. Marshall! Come out, wherever you are! This is the land of opportunity, mister!
Force! Force must be used if you're to have your own way.
So love to talk in riddles, Mr. Marsden.
Hey YouTube, MINIFLY again with another video. This time I'm going to be talking about 3 very, very badass games. Very, very badass games. And if you know what they are, you already know this. There's number 1, Red Dead Redemption. Number 2, Red Dead River. Number 3, Gun. We're going to start off with the Red Dead Redemption. We're going to be talking about the ups and the downs, about each game, and overall which one's the best for what kind of people. Because I'll be honest, my favorite is probably Red Dead Redemption. However, when it comes to character-wise, I like Red Harlow most, but I kind of like Western, because I think that Gun is probably the most Western. So I kind of the action, kind of the overall thrillingness of Gun, the character of Red Harlow more, and I like Red Dead Redemption because it has online. So. And that's why I like it the most, because it has online. The other ones do not. But anyways, we're going to start with Red Dead Redemption. The ups and the downs. Okay. Red Dead Redemption is a story, a tale, John Marston, a man part of a gang called Dutch's Gang. He ran off whenever he was very, very young. His father was a Scottish immigrant, died in a fight in Chicago. Now, where he was born, I do not know. It didn't ever say where he was born on the Wikipedia, but it say that he died in Chicago. So I'm going to assume he was born up in Chicago by assumption of that his father died. Mother died during birth. His mother was a whore. So there's not very much to know about his mother. Father died during birth, of course. Then he went to an orphanage and shaped a few people. Dutch, Bill, Abigail. I think even Javier Escuela was in that. They left angry. They were teenagers. I believe he said they were like 16, 17 years old whenever they left. So they're angry teenagers. They left, made the gang. And the thing about the Dutch's Gang is the Dutch's Gang wasn't really like a legitimate gang. It was more like a revolution. They did rob and steal, but they're kind of like the Jesse James Gang. They targeted people. You know what I mean? Jesse James Gang really targeted people. They didn't just go after anybody and everybody. So that's the way it worked. Abigail was the gang whore. A lot of people had with her, including Williamson. That's why you're in the game. Phil Williamson will talk about how it's a whore, because it was the gang whore. So, that's basically kind of the bio of John Marston. He later ends up killing everybody in the gang, including Dutch, which actually Dutch fell backwards and fell off a cliff. But he ends up later at his home, Beecher's Hope. He ends up doing a couple farm missions. Later, he finds out that he can't just get away from the government like that. Ends up getting shot up. Dies. His son Jack, you continue on the story from there. And you go to Lake Don Julio, where supposedly the man Ross who killed your father supposedly lives there. You go there, find a knife. You can choose to kill his wife. I did kill her. It says it wasn't her fault of what her husband did. But you can choose to kill her or not. It does not affect anything else. You kill her and you have your bandana on, you can do anything at all. you don't have a bandana on, then you'll lose a little bit of honor. But either way, same thing with his brother. I did kill his brother, however. If you go down to Mexico and to a camp, because Edgar Ross's wife tells you that he's in Mexico hunting. I go to the camp, you find his brother there, and I tried to, I don't really remember what I did. I wasn't planning on shooting his brother, but his brother got up. I think I may have pointed a gun at or threatened to rob him, or I think I was just going to injure because it was his brother, you know. I'm kind of like that. I won't shoot women, you know, in this game. But I shot his brother, I think in like the leg or something, trying to let him go. I tried to let him go, hoping he'd run away. Instead, he tried to sit there and fight me. So I put on my bandana, and I killed him. But I continued down the road, and later found Edgar Ross. Started talking to him a bit, tell him who you are. But of course, he already knew that a little bit before. And you quick draw him. I killed him, and I took his money. But when I killed him, I wanted him to make it feel just what it was like to kill Jack's dad. So I got a Mauser, hit every single shot all across the chest. Didn't shoot him once in the head. Got him all in the chest, all 15 rounds in the chest. Felt every single one before he died. Fell in the water, ran over and took his money, which I believe he has a couple $100 on him, so nice for his money. But that right there is kind of like the end of Red Dead Redemption. You go to Undead Nightmare, a few other things happen. First off, your son and your wife get to tie up. You end up killing Uncle, which I didn't know about Uncle that much, so I'll talk about him a little bit more in just a minute. You end up killing Uncle, which is not actually related to John Marston at all. It's supposedly Red Harlow. I do not believe that's Red Harlow. If you've watched other videos, seeing him, you'll hear me talk about how I do not believe that that's him. But anyway, so you end up shooting Uncle, killing him. Almost all the characters from Red Dead Redemption, which actually one character you don't see is Irish, which actually was one of my favorites, except for one part where he tried to rob some nuns, and John Marston almost kicked his ass. I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, so you don't ever see Irish. But in Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, that's a nice add-on. There's a bunch of add-ons for Red Dead Redemption. And then that's basically it. Here's a bio about Dutch. Dutch is the leader of the gang, of course. After the gang split apart from him going crazy, Phil Williamson made his own gang, and called the Wilson Gang, over at Fort Mercer. You end up taking out Fort Mercer with a couple of people, which you could have done it by yourself, which I could have done it by myself. But you end up getting help from a couple of people. Now, when it comes to the what's his name, Javier Escuela. Javier Escuela is a Mexican. He ends up working for the Mexican government. That's why you end up capturing him. And you have the option to kill him or let him live. I let him live. And I'm not really sure what happens to him. He gets captured by the rebels, and I'm not sure what they do to them. They might end up executing him or what. I'm not sure what they did. They did something to him. That's really it on all the characters of Red Dead Redemption. Landon Ricketts is one guy I didn't talk about yet. Landon Ricketts is, if there was going to be a guy in this game who was Red Harlow, I believe it would be Landon Ricketts. Even though he doesn't have none of the facial features and stuff. But like I said in other videos, Rockstar admitted to changing things. And also, he could have, some things could have happened over his age. He could have gotten, skin could have, like, face could have gotten messed up, and his face would have literally had to remake itself. I'm not kidding you. That's happened to me before when I was really, really young. I got in a really bad accident, and my face literally, like, regrew almost everything on it. There's only a little bit of skin that stayed the same. Now my face is, like, completely different than what it was when I was a really, really little kid. But anyway, so different things could have happened to his face. His hand, I'm not sure what's up with that. Like I said, his skin could have regrew over that or something, because supposedly in Red Harlow's hand there's a what do we call it, a scorpion burned into his hand. Anyway, let's stick on Red Dead Redemption. Overall, if I'm gonna give it a 5-star rating, I would give it a 5 stars. So all of these games are actually 5 stars, but I'm just explaining which one I think is probably the best of all of them. Okay, so if you're looking for multiplayer, which I believe that's what makes it actually the best, is the multiplayer. If you're actually looking for the multiplayer, this is the only game of these 3 that have multiplayer. I repeat, the only one. If you're going to spend your money on just one, if you're going to get just one, I would recommend just this one. Okay, so I'm going to rate this number 1. Okay, now, Tom, so I guess I'm going to go ahead and make another video for the next one, okay? So go ahead and, I guess, end this one and make part 2, okay?